In this video, we'll be discussing x and y intercepts. So we've talked a little bit about what an x and y intercept, what they are, but we're going to talk a little bit more about them and how to graph and find them. So at the point, the x-intercept's the point where it crosses the x-axis. We've called these zeros, roots, and solutions. And then the point where it crosses the y-axis, we call it the x-intercept. So we're going to identify the x and y-intercept on our graph shown to the right. So our x-intercept, and we're going to write them as a point. So our x-intercept is this point right here. So it's 0 in the y direction, so y is 0. And then we go 8 in the x direction. So our point is x, the x-intercept is 8, 0, and then our y-intercept is 0 because we don't go any in the x direction, and then we go up 8 because it's this point right here. So to find the x-intercept of an equation algebraically, or not graphing it, you're going to set y equal to 0 and solve for x. And to do it for the y-intercept, you're going to set x equal to 0 and solve for y. So, if we're given this example, y equals 3x plus 6, we want to find the x and the y-intercepts. So let's find the x-intercept first. So the x-intercept, you're going to set y equal to 0. So 0 equals 3x plus 6. Then we're going to solve for x. So we're going to subtract 6. So I get negative 6 equals 3x, and we're going to divide by 3. So x equals negative 2. But I need to write this as a point, so x is negative 2 and y is going to be 0. So that's how you find your x-intercept. To find your y-intercept, you're going to plug in 0 for x. So 3 times 0 plus 6. So 0 times anything is 0, so y equals 6. But once again, I need to write this as a point. We said x was 0 and y was 6. So that's how we write it as a point. It's important to write it as an ordered pair because we're going to be graphing them later, and then ordered pairs are easier to graph. So let's do the odds. So we want to find the x and y intercepts of each equation. So we're going to do the x-intercept, where y is 0. So negative 5 equals negative x, and divide by negative 1. X equals 5. So my point, which I'll write on this line over here, is 5, 0. And then let's find our y-intercept. Y equals negative 0 plus 5. Well, 0 plus anything or is just the number, so 5. And so my y-intercept is 0, 5. Also, if you're having trouble solving equations, you need to come in during lunch and get some help on solving equations, because by now we should be able to solve equations. So 3, we want to find our x and our y-intercept. So let's do our x one first. It doesn't matter which one you do first, I just always do the x first. So 0 equals negative 4 over 3x plus 2. So I'm going to subtract 2, so I'm negative 2 equals negative 4 thirds x. I'm going to multiply everything by 3. So I get -6 equals -4x. And divide by -4. X equals 3/2. It's okay to have a fraction. It's alright. I promise. So x-intercept is 3/2, 0. And let's find our y-intercept. So we are going to plug in 0 for x. Y equals 2. So 0, 2. One more. Let's do one more here. So those were all written in slope-intercept form. These are not, so we're just going to do one of these. So to find our x-intercept, we are going to plug in 0 for y. So 3 times x minus 2 times 0 equals 12. So I have 3x equals 12, and so x is going to be 4. So I have 4, 0 as an x-intercept. And then let's do the y-intercept. So 3 times 0 minus 2y equals 12. So -2y equals 12. So y is going to be -6. 0, -6 is our point, our y-intercept. All right, so that's how you solve them algebraically. What if we want to graph using the intercepts? So we'd have to find the intercepts first. So let's stick with the odd numbers. So let's do x-intercept, y-intercept, and we'll find them first, just like we did in the above, and then we'll graph them. So for an x-intercept, you're going to plug in 0 for y, so x plus 0 equals 3, so x equals 3. So we have the point 3, 0. And then for the y-intercept, you're going to plug in 0 for x. So y equals 3. And so 0, 3 is your point. All right, so let's graph both of these points. 3, 0 is right there, and 0, 3 is right there. So now that we've graphed them, all we got to do is connect them. And draw a line through them, maybe. There you go. You just graphed using the x and y intercept. Alright, let's do one more. Let's do this. Let's do number 9. So the x-intercept and the y-intercept we want to find. So the x-intercept, we're going to do 9x minus 15 times 0, because you plug in 0 for y equals 45. So 9x equals 45. So x is equal to 5. So 5, 0 is my point. And then we have, for the y-intercept, you're going to plug in 0 for x. So 9 times 0 minus 15y equals 45. So negative 15y equals 45. So dividing by negative 15, you get negative 3, which is the point 0, negative 3. So let's plot these points on here. So 5, 0 is right there, and 0, negative 3 is right there. So what we're going to do is we're now going to connect these points with a line. Maybe. There we go. So that is your line. And that is how you graph and find intercepts.